Good evening and welcome to the BBC's news at 6 o'clock. From April next year, all large shops and supermarkets in England will be banned from displaying cigarettes. Newsagents will follow in 2015. It's the first part of a government plan to cut the number of smokers. There'll be talks on whether cigarettes should be sold in plain packaging in the future. The same measures are expected to be adopted in Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. Our medical correspondent, Fergus Walsh, has spent the day in Blackpool, where more than one-third of adults smoke.
Blackpool out of season, the sea, the amusement arcades and the cigarettes. 35% of adults here smoke, and 1 in 3 pregnant women, twice the national rate.
I smoked when I was pregnant, so not a lot, but I did.
As an average baby's about 7 to 8 pounds, she was only 6, which they said was down to the smoking, so it's a bit devastating, really.
And people start young here. When did you have your first cigarette?
When I was about 10.
Why are smoking rates so high here? Look around. It's a deprived area. Unemployment is high and poor communities smoke more. On average, Blackpool residents not only die younger than those in more affluent communities, they also have many more years of ill health. And it's smoking, not poverty, which is the #1 factor. 1 in 2 lifelong smokers will die from their habit, and it cuts an average of 10 years off life expectancy.
And blow. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep
This
going.
lung capacity test is part of attempts by the NHS to encourage smokers to quit. But Kevin Arden says he never will.
It's the kids now that are coming up and they all think it's big to smoke. My daughter smokes, she's 14, can't stop it, don't want to encourage it.
The Conservatives were against a ban on shops displaying cigarettes when in opposition. But from next year, large retailers will have to remove tobacco from show, with smaller shops following in 2015. 1 in 5 adults in England smokes, and there are 80,000 tobacco-related deaths. It's hoped the display ban will deter the young.
If it's not on display, then it's not normal adult behaviour. It can't be treated like a Mars bar that you just pick up when you go in. Children must not see these products. That's an absolutely crucial part of the strategy.
Another measure going out for consultation is whether cigarettes should be sold in plain packaging, stripped of their bright colours and trademarks.
You wouldn't have the name Samson or whatever.
Smokers I spoke to thought plain packaging might deter the young, but not them.
But I suppose to kids and that, you know, they look at bright packaging and they think, you know, whoa, this looks all right, but plain packaging, you know, I don't think it'd make a difference to me smoking at all.
But the tobacco industry will fiercely oppose any further restrictions on what remains a legal product. Fergus Walsh, BBC News, Blackpool.
Well, let's get more on this now from our political correspondent, Laura Kuenssberg, who's at Westminster. Laura, the Health Secretary hasn't always been a fan of these kind of measures. What's changed his mind?
Well, George, you're right. When Labour first suggested this idea, the Conservative, who's now in charge here at the Department of Health, questioned the logic of allowing something legally to be sold to adults in shops, but making it illegal to have it on a particular shelf. And there are some people in his own party who wonder whether this out of sight, out of mind idea isn't interfering too much in people's lives and, importantly, interfering a bit too much in the lives of people who want to run businesses, whether corner shops or big supermarkets or whatever. So business itself might also try to make this really quite difficult, like that legal challenge in Scotland that has held up the introduction of the ban there. And like the many people who've found it not so straightforward to kick the habit, the Health Secretary might find that bringing in a ban on tobacco display in shops isn't quite as easy as just stubbing it out.